the trauma away, especially in times of extreme stress. What did Doc Clyde know? Nothing. I'm sure you are stressed with no one to bury around here. Granny did a sign of the cross, and we weren't even Catholic. She snapped her finger at me. Now, downward dog, young lady, she ordered. Doc Clyde, Sleepy Hollow's resident doctor, felt it necessary I do some type of stress relief since he had diagnosed me with what he called funeral trauma after I had gotten knocked out flat cold from a falling plastic Santa and woke up in the hospital seeing the clients I had stuck 6 feet in the ground. Being an undertaker can be stressful, but I didn't have funeral trauma. I was a betweener. I saw dead people. Let me clarify, dead people that had been murdered. It was a gift that Plastic Santa gave me. Unlike the annual ugly Christmas sweater Granny gave me, it was a gift that I can't return. Honestly, I wouldn't even be able to take the sweater back. It's okay, Zula Faye. Hetty Bell dipped back down into the stretch that started all this downward dog stuff. Yoga isn't for everyone. You got that right. I grumbled under my breath and watched with a dutiful eye as the white convertible Mercedes whipped into a parking spot right in front of Higher Grounds. Sleepy Hollow was a tourist town in Kentucky. We were known for our caves and caverns. Tourists to our town were mainly the outdoorsy type that loved to spelunk and stuff that I wasn't interested in doing. Now, yoga was added to that list as well. A woman jumped out of the convertible and wagged her hand at the car trying to park in the space behind her. The woman had on a pair of big black sunglasses that took up nearly all of her thin face and a black scarf over her hair and tied under her chin. She wore a black strapless jumpsuit and her legs looked a mile long. "Move!" She screamed at a car that was less desirable than hers. "You aren't parking that beater behind mine." She jumped into her car and backed it up, taking up the only 2 available spaces in front of the cafe. "Is that?" Beulah Page jumped up, tugged on the hem of her silky zip-top and squinted. "You know your fancy wrinkle cream might work if you got you some glasses or contact lenses." Mabel Clare cackled and jingled all the way down to her mat. "Oh, hush, Mabel Clare," Beulah warned, keeping her eyes on the little scuffle going on in front of the cafe. "I do think that is." Beulah ran her hand over her bright red hair, pushing her fingertips in and fluffing it up. She put her hands on the strand of pearls around her neck and straightened them. "Oh, my God." Shock and awe came over me, then anger when I saw who it was. Jade Lee Peel. I stood up to steady my shaking body. It took everything in my power not to throw one big hissy fit right there in front of all of Sleepy Hollow, or at least the auxiliary women. "It is." Beulah jumped up and clapped her hands together like a little schoolgirl, not the 40-something-year-old gossip queen I was used to seeing. Beulah did a little 2-step and giddy-up down the steps of the gazebo and scurried across the town square. And it looks like Jack Henry is happy to see whoever she is, too. Granny sure didn't know when or how to keep her mouth shut, especially in an emergency such as this. Jade Lee Peel, I grumbled and gave my high school arch-nemesis the evil eye. It was a time like this I wished I had some sort of cool gift like casting spells on people, not seeing them after the spell took effect and stopped their beating heart. Jade Lee had left Sleepy Hollow right out of high school to pursue a modeling career. When she made it on a music channel's reality TV show where they all lived in a house, she was discovered. She wasn't the biggest star on the planet, but she was the biggest from Sleepy Hollow. Reluctantly, I had sent her people an invitation to the class reunion, hoping they'd think it was fan mail, and when I hadn't gotten back on RSVP, I'd assumed she wasn't coming. It would be just like her not to RSVP.